This game is underrated. IGN gave it a 4, GameSpot 4.1, and the video game critic gave it an F grade, saying, "Survivor is such a monumental disappointment it probably doesn't even deserve to bear the Resident Evil name." I think that's a little harsh. I say Resident Evil Survivor is a good game. It has some flaws, but it's an enjoyable experience and it has that Resident Evil feeling.
Resident Evil Survivor.
A common complaint about this game is that it looks bad. I don't agree. I think it almost looks as good as Metal Gear Solid. And that game wasn't perfect either, by the way. The characters had no eyes. Anyway, I like the graphics. It's what you'd expect from a Resident Evil game in 3D on the PlayStation 1. However, all the zombies are recycled from Resident Evil 2, which is a little disappointing considering that this game came out after Resident Evil 3. As I said, I like the look of this game, but I'll admit that it could have been better. But it certainly doesn't look bad. The music is good, as it always is in Resident Evil games. It sets the mood well, and I like how the music shifts seamlessly when monsters are near. The sound is also good, and if you played any Resident Evil games before, you'll be right at home here. The liquor hisses, the hunter growls, and the gun sounds like it should. The bad part about the sound is the voice acting. Now in the original Resident Evil I actually liked the bad voice acting because it added to the whole B-movie thing, and it was funny.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
But here, the voice acting is just plain horrible. Especially with Ark, the main character. This guy couldn't have been a professional voice actor. He's gotta have been some guy Capcom picked up at a bus station or something.
What? Where am I? Oh! I don't remember anything. Who am I?
The game takes place after the events in Resident Evil 3 on a place called Sheena Island. This place, it turns out, is home to a plant where Umbrella mass-produces tyrants of the Mr. X variety and makes experiments on kids' brains. The town is run by a cold-hearted Umbrella official named Vincent, and he dies in the opening scene. The main character of Ark Thompson came to the island sent there by Leon S. Kennedy to spy on Umbrella, but something went wrong and he tried to escape in a helicopter when Vincent jumped on. Vincent fell off and the helicopter crashed, leaving Ark with amnesia, the most overused plot device ever. He can't remember who he is, but run-ins with an angry janitor makes him believe that he's Vincent, the villain.
I am Vincent. It was all my fault.
The plot is a bit confusing, but pretty interesting as it unfolds. The story suffers a bit from Ark's horrible voice acting though. Sheena Island was mentioned in the opening prologue to Resident Evil 0, canonizing the story within the Resident Evil universe. You can't strafe. If you can get over that, it's not bad. Actually, I've never minded that, because this isn't an FPS game, it's Resident Evil in first person. The inability to strafe adds to the tension, it's supposed to be that way. The European and Japanese versions of the game can be played with a light gun. Gun support was removed from the American version because the shootings at Columbine had just happened, and Capcom didn't want to risk being accused of training kids to use guns. It's not the first time something like this has happened. The old NES Zapper was originally grey, but was later changed to orange because parents thought the grey one looked too much like a real gun. But I don't really recommend playing with the gun. With a gun you have to point it off screen and pull the trigger to move forward, and then press the buttons to move left or right. To shoot, you just point it at the screen and shoot like normal. This system is a little too restricting, although it is cool to shoot like you're supposed to. For one thing, you can't move backwards, and that's a big problem. Secondly, you lose the run button, making it annoying to walk like a slug all the time. I'd say stick to a regular controller. One minor issue is that you can't look around freely like you would in an FPS game. You press R1 to ready your gun like in regular Resident Evil games, and then move a crosshair to where you want to shoot before you shoot with the X button. When there are enemies coming in from below, like crawling zombies, dogs and lickers, you can't look down to shoot them. If the enemy is visible at all, however, the camera will look down automatically, but when it does, it could already be too late. This becomes kind of annoying as the game goes on. In the other Resident Evil games you have puzzles, but in this game you don't. It's just find the key, open the door. It's no huge loss to me, but there should have been puzzles in the game. It is Resident Evil, isn't it? There's not even any emblems. Another common complaint about this game is that a quick search button eliminates any need to explore. That's true, but remember, it's optional. You don't have to use it. There, problem solved. Lastly, you can't save. There is a load option on the title screen, which is weird since there are no typewriters in the game to save with. But the game is short anyway, so it's not all that necessary, but still it should have been included. All in all, I give Resident Evil Survivor a solid 7 out of 10. The voice acting drags it down a couple points and the control could have been improved. But the story is good and the first-person style gives it a different kind of involvement. I feel that this game is underrated and it is worth a look to anyone who likes Resident Evil games. Just don't play it expecting Half-Life.
What are we gonna do, mister?
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
I don't know, but don't worry. We can fly as long as we have fuel.